classroom, we can't even seem to decide on a genre without bickering. Of course, for me it's no surprise. Asking honor students to do anything together is laughable at best. There's a girl at the board, armed with a board marker and a very authoritative position that she's gained simply because of her natural intolerance of letting another student spoil her good chances at a grade. Keep in mind that this is the same person from a group of students who thought standing up at the board with a marker was the epitome of hilarity or rebelliousness when a substitute walked in. She's easily irritated by the loud classroom, especially by a geeky kid, almost painfully obviously a freshman, who keeps getting up and trying to wrest control from her hands. He has big plans for the project, something about a pre-apocalyptic setting, with Bruce Willis-type macho man as the protagonist. I scoff every time he tries to sell it to us. I mean, come on, pre-apocalypse? I think he's the only person in the room that doesn't understand that the term makes absolutely no sense. The person next to me keeps asking why the geek keeps standing up, and I can't help but to snicker at his pleas for the geek to sit down. Honestly, I feel bad for our substitute, a teacher in training. She clearly didn't know that our class was filled with train wrecks. She tries to help us, but some people cough, band kid cough, shoot her down. She seems like a nice girl, but maybe it's a good thing that she only has to deal with this class for an hour and 15 minutes. I don't think she had any idea what she was getting into when she decided to sub for us. Oh well, we all have to learn from experience. If the geek was the least of my problems, I would simply be zoning out, only speaking up when someone said something completely ludicrous. What can I say? I like conflict. But unfortunately, the geek doesn't even approach the precipice of my annoyance. With even a glance at the actual source of this conflict, the know-it-all, I feel a migraine coming on. He is tall with dirty blonde hair and a perfectly straight white smile. He's the type of person that believes class doesn't start until he walks in the door. Not only that, he's an insufferable fun sucker. Trust me, I know.
Fun sucker.
Of course, we'd all be lost without him. Then again, at least if we were lost, we wouldn't have to share the same air supply. The fact that this smile isn't accompanied by satanic laughter and the wails of small children truly needs to be remedied. He also has a rather grating tendency to talk with his hands. He's truly the king of all that is OCD, honors, and pure evil. Of course, the OCD kid got up this morning and decided to bring something totally random, a large post-it note to class, just because. Although he thinks it is pretty funny and clever, I don't. Not at all, actually. As my eyes wander across the classroom, I notice that some girl is writing on the post-it with a marker. I don't care to pay attention to what she is writing, deciding that it can't possibly be worth the brain cells to think about. Eventually, the large post-it note's 2 minutes of fame run dry, but I still think it's completely pointless. I think it's dumb, but everyone else thinks it's brilliant. I still can't bring myself to care one bit about it. Eventually, we decide on doing a comedy. Wonderful, it's my least favorite genre. I do find it rather comedic that the geek randomly decides that it would be a great idea to get this train wreck on video. I decided that it's best for the world to never see the footage, and I will cover the lens of his MacBook approximately 2 minutes after he sets it up for recording. But I will not be needing any applause. I receive my thanks when one girl on my right, whose voice I've never heard, decides to speak up, obviously as fed up with the situation as I am. The quiet kids are probably the only kids I can't bring myself to hate. As the class ponders such insightful philosophical questions such as, what does simple mean, after one student dared to suggest that the project might be too cut and dry, I'm ready to start banging my head against my desk. While I idly contemplate the geek's obsession with labeling himself as a band nerd, I roll my eyes when he erases the word the girl at the board has written as she's writing them to class names. What a fitting end for a grueling 75 minutes of the debate on how to write a story. There was no conclusion. Okay, still goes. The geek who still considers himself a high school band nerd tries his best to be the creative, fun guy, but simply turned out to be more and more incoherent with every word and every overly enthusiastic gesture. The quiet kids were packing their things, probably more confused than anyone, but contented with knowing that they were verbally no part of the madness, and therefore cannot be blamed for what went down, or lack thereof. We aloof cynics sat with blank, disdainful faces at all we had just witnessed. The normal kids were probably just hoping that the student substitute teacher wouldn't give us an awful report back to Professor Mason, and also planning on checking Netflix to see if Clue is on instant as soon as they get back to their dorms. It's not. But look, the 6-foot-tall, perfect teeth and tan know-it-all with the deep voice and selectively boyish features that he's trying too hard for everyone, especially the two girls sitting on either side of him, to notice, with every know-it-all word he speaks while sitting all cool, like leaning back in his seat with his legs spread far out, a little grin on his face, and a twinkle in his eyes to say he's sucking on a thought that couldn't possibly be more clever, appears to have something to say.
Can you please read that again?
Is that all one sentence?
Yes.
I'm so glad.
Okay, you gotta keep going.
Okay. Yes, as every other student is completely satisfied with the nothing that was accomplished, he sees his opportunity to make sure that the story is done his way. So he dramatically stands from his common classroom rolly chair with a gallant gust of wind bellowing majestically upon him, looking like an iconic superhero, super know-it-all. And he has that twinkle in his eye. Oh, he's definitely sucking on something really clever this time. And then he starts to speak, and his voice is like opera. Anyway, the super know-it-all holds up the gigantic post-it note that he brought to class that he would get attention and points out the girl sitting next to him has been writing on it the whole time we've been talking. Instead of contributing to the chaos, he points to the words written on it, and so many words says, "The gigantic post-it I can be credited with bringing to class has provided a path. This is the course we should take."
He didn't say that.
Pretty much.
Whatever, go ahead.
The collective eye of the classroom and all those in it fell upon the words written thus on the gigantic post-it note. Our jaws dropped with a brilliant flash of light. It was gone, and so was the class. To lunch. We still have no idea what to do, but hopefully we'll get an A fraternity.
Very nice.
Oh my god.
Okay, first of all,
Are you going to make me read the sentence again?
We don't have to.
that did exactly like